perspective on the game, the opening match of the Betway Premiership?
Yeah, just that it feels good to finally get the first game under your belt, man. And it wasn't the best result for the team. It's been a long old pre-season, but it doesn't matter when in the season you play a team of this quality that Sundowns has got. It's always going to be a tough game. So whether it was opening game or middle of the season, we knew it was going to be a tough game, and Sundowns didn't disappoint tonight. Really kept us on our toes. We had to try and pull out all the stops, but a well thought out game, I think, from both teams. There was a physical aspect to it, which is good because that sometimes players need that, and I think I've really got to commend our players. It's been very difficult not playing any games and coming into a game like this and the way they conducted themselves. I thought the first half was a fantastic effort. But when you let a team like Sundowns grind you down, they're always going to create problems, and they did that throughout the 90 minutes.
Thank you, Coach. We'll take questions from the floor. Please remember to identify yourself. Any questions? Any takers? Or Skipper?
Coach, Maskebe from Power FM. In the first half, you guys had not too many, but there was a chance or two. Second half as well, there was a chance or two there. I think comes to show the importance of a better finisher, for lack of a better word. Is that something that when you look at, and I know that it's the first game of the season, but when you have Bradley out, does it then say we need to have something maybe coming from outside to help us with the situation?
I mean, it's a really good question, and it's 100% because you could see it in the game. You're never going to get too many chances against a team like Sundowns. Because you don't enjoy the lion's share of possession against a team like this. So it's important that when you do get those chances, Gape Morales is the one chance that comes to mind with the great save that Ronman made in the end. Those are the ones we've got to take. Now that's not a striker, that's a midfielder. So the one thing that we've got to change as a team this season is to back Bradley up with goals. Bradley's track record in the past will show that Bradley's got maybe 14 goals in the season, but our next best goal scorer has maybe got 3 or 4, and we need to bridge that gap. And we're busy doing that. We are working hard in the market to try and bring in quality in the striking department, and that's number one on our target at the moment. And we will be successful within a short time in terms of fixing that. But it's a thing we work on a lot in training, is the finishing. Because you can't, and again the game tonight. If I look at the game tonight, you can't be caught defending for 90 minutes. You've got to play and create as well. And when we did play and create, we look good. And so yeah, we have to finish those chances that we do create.
Good evening, Coach.
Hey, bud.
Coach, is there any particular reason why you subbed off Neo Rapport? Because it looked like he had a very solid, first half to some extent. And then the 2 goals from Sundowns come from the left back position.
Yeah, well spotted. That was a defining moment for us. Neo was suffering with tummy cramps, and he could barely run by the time we took him off. So we needed to protect the boy, and we couldn't force him to play. He was in pain. And so it was a forced substitution, and like you say, it was a defining moment for us because with both goals, unfortunately, and we had to change the structure a little bit, and go to a back 4, and Sundowns is very good with creating width when they're attacking, and that's the one thing that hurt us a lot in the end.
Coach, from Popular Radio.
Hi.
Coach, I wanted to ask, the way you play today with your team and the setup, is this the type of structure that we can expect to see moving forward from your team?
So we don't like to define ourselves as a team that play a certain structure, and that's who we are. That's what we do, game in and game out. The game tonight warranted that we played the way we did, and it showed that it was the right thing in the first half. More so, we needed width in the team. That's why we went with 3 centre backs and we pushed our wing backs on a bit higher. And what Neo did very well is tucking in when we had to defend and make it a back 4 or a back 5 at times during game moments. because Sundowns are very good when they're passing in and around you. So we needed to just close those gaps. And that's what this game particularly warranted. We will definitely change it up in terms of the opposition when we go through the season, and that also comes from video analysis of the opposition when we're playing certain games and that type of thing. So this is not who we define ourselves as, but it is certainly something that we've been working on, and it's always nice to give the players different kinds of structure, so they get used to the different kinds of structure. And tonight was a game where we started with a certain way that we want to play, and we will build from that as we go into the season.
That's good. NS will kick off.
Aiki,
Tell us more about the boy from Zimbabwe. I think he's 19 years old. He looks good, especially in the first half with some good touches. And then probably with the transfer window closing on Friday, can you expect maybe 1 or 2 signings for SuperSport?
Yeah, look at him, Mongezi. It's a good young player. So he comes from a good pedigree. You know, it was not his best performance tonight, but as you say, he's 19 years old and he's learning all the time. He's got a big heart about him, and he plays for the team, and we've seen that in pre-season. This was a tough introduction for him into the PSL, and I thought he didn't disappoint. He can do lots more. We will work with him in certain structures, and so that we give him the means to operate however we need him to play, whether it's a front three, whether it's a front two, we will do that with him. So he's learning all the time, and he's still young, and we've got to look after him. But I think he's definitely one for the future. When I say future, I mean near future. He's certainly not far away. As far as the transfer window goes, 100%. We're working hard to boost the team. And I say that because, as you know, we've got key players missing. We've got Grant Markman, who's out for months. Bradley Grobler's out for months. So these are but 2 key players that we are missing, and big for the team. So we've got to replace them. And we're hoping to secure 1 or 2 before the window closes.
Arendse, Ngidi, David, then we'll take the last question. Thank you.
How's it been?
Imi obviously starts today. That suggests that he remains a SuperSport player beyond the transfer window.
Yeah, for now, he definitely does, unless something happens at the very last minute. But we've, you know, as a technical team, we have to plan with players, and we're planning with Ime, and that's why he started tonight. We felt that he was an integral part of how we wanted to play tonight. And so that was definitely what, like I say, we are planning for him to stay, because, you know, I say any last minute transfer is out of our hands, but we can't sit and wait. If we need the player, we need him, and we needed him tonight. And so he was very key for us also.
Ronan's injury put a lot of scrutiny on the other goalkeepers in the country. What do you make of the standard of South African goalkeepers who are at international level for Bafana? And how do you pick up a player like Veli, who is obviously part of the national team setup, but has had like quite 2 big mistakes that would have taken a knock on his
Yeah. Can I first say that Ronman set the bar very high, very, very high with goalkeeping in this country, and he's unmatched at the moment. There's no question about that, and has been for a while. So it's up to the other goalkeepers to lift their standards, to lift their levels, and that's a personal thing. That comes from in here and in there, and Ronman's got that about him. In terms of ability, there's no question that that goalkeeping is in good hands from an international perspective. I have no doubt about that. But the recent performances have proved that when Ronman doesn't play, he leaves a big gap in the team, and that's not being negative to other goalkeepers. It's for all to see, and it's up to them to close that gap as much as they can, because, like I say, Ronman has set the bar very, very high, and so from a goalkeeping perspective, we as coaches, we've got a lot of work to do in our own pockets that we work in terms of developing. For me, it's ongoing. Goalkeeping is still a big part of my coaching. And we are always developing. We're always trying to get people closer, and that bar is set by Ronman. And so when I look at someone like Veli, we've got to protect him. I know, I've been there. I've been there. And you cannot feel any worse than Veli is feeling to this day still, and will feel for a long time. It's happened to me at the biggest stage of world football. I know what he's going through, and we have to help him. We have to protect him. We have, and whether that's keeping him playing, or whether that's giving him a rest and talking to him and rebuilding his confidence. The one thing about especially goalkeeping, it's a thankless job because there's no margin for error, and as much as when we're developing people, we have got to allow for mistakes. We have got to help mistakes because they will happen. And if we start breaking people down, it's not going to be for the benefit of our football. That doesn't make Veli a bad player overnight. They're totally the opposite. But we've got to be seen as helping people, and that's the only way we'll move forward. But like I say, Ronman set the bar so high, man, so high.
Coach, maybe just to pick up from Jabulo, my question is more around Goss. I'm coming to Goss. And we know in the modern day, something that was not there for you in 2002, sports psychology.
Yeah.
You know, and how crucial is this, especially even at international level.
Yeah.
If you look at what happened with him, and then he comes back to the club, and you also don't know these things. Did he really go through a sports psychologist for him to also overcome this thing? You know, so just the importance of that, and the importance of having. I mean, I was looking at the crucial save he made in the first half, the Goss, because I think this was the first time you played him against Sundowns since you got him from Sundowns. Just the importance of having him.
Great questions. I mean, it's for me. So, the one thing for me also with someone like Goss is, and I have this discussion with him every day. Grant Johnson has this discussion with him every day. I want him to become a front foot goalkeeper. What does that mean? That means be brave enough to come and deal with things. Don't be a line goalkeeper. And that breeds confidence. And I've seen those changes in Goss. And those are the type of things that are going to get him closer to Runman, for example. And I'm specifically talking about Goss now. And I saw that in the game tonight, especially in the first half. Great save. I saw him become brave to make decisions when he's in possession. And those are the things that should stand out when you're looking at these goalkeepers. And I think the fact that he was able to play against Sundowns was also a big motivating factor for me. I saw a confident one. I saw a goalkeeper that wanted to show people. They wanted to show people what he can do as well. And this is what brings him out of his shell. So for me, I thought he was good today. I thought he was maybe exposed here and there for the goals that he conceded. Cannot be blamed for either of those. But I was very, very happy with his performance tonight. Very happy.
The importance of sports psychologists at this level.
Yeah. So, can I tell you, mental health is a thing. It is a thing, and we've got to help people. And that's why I think sports psychology should be a thing if it's not already, because we tend to keep things in, and where a simple discussion or a simple chat about it to someone who knows how to go about it can help offload things. And we've got to look after that. We've got to take care of that. So for me, sports psychology is becoming a massive thing in football.
Coach, Benjamin from Newsroom.
That's a bit.
Just at the risk of sounding redundant, my question was actually linked to the two gentlemen before. Just as an addition, were you perhaps surprised to see, in light of a couple of big saves he had, Goss, this evening, were you surprised to maybe see Veli and Sipho ahead of him in the international window? Is it something that you actually thought about?
I was, to an extent, and I don't say that because he's my goalkeeper. I say that because I know what he's capable of. And what we've got to understand is when they're working at the national team, we're not there. So we're not seeing their training. We're not seeing their body language at training. We're not seeing what they are doing on the training ground that suggests to Grant Johnson or Hugo Broos that I'm the one to choose for this particular game. Veli might have been fantastic in training. In fact, I heard that he was. And that had a lot to do with him playing. I know what Goss is capable of. So to that end, it was a little bit of a surprise to me.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach. Goalkeeper,
We stand strong.